Thank you very much for watching this video. I've recorded a video several days back. Several days? How long was it? Okay, it's several days back, called Message for You for 2018. In that video, to summarize it, I said that in 2018 and the years to come, look beyond. And I want to continue in that line. And I want to talk about walking in love with someone and walking in love towards someone. I want to keep it very short. It comes down to this. Walking in love is a commandment. That should be your attitude. Bless those that curse you. Love your enemies. That's your attitude. Alright? But that does not mean that you have to, nor that you can engage with everyone. You walk in love towards everyone. That's the emission from you. That's your attitude. That's how you relate to others. But you can't walk in love with everyone. To walk in love towards others implies that you're focused on others. That means that you look around. That means you're alert, you are aware. So there's knowledge involved. It's not that mechanical relating based upon traditions only, as most worldly people do. It is a conscious decision in obedience to Christ to relate to others in a way that honors and glorifies Him. Now, this implies that there must be safety on both sides. This implies mutual accountability, mutual responsibility. So that means that when someone holds on to the negative, you cannot walk in love with them. That's not possible. So you hear people say, but believers ought to walk in love. They shouldn't judge. They should. We walk in love. And walking in love itself is a judgment upon those who hold on to the negative. Because that brightness that emits from you when you walk by faith is revealing their heaviness, their negativity. And for them to hold on to it, that's them. But understand, when they hold on to it, that negativity, you are not obliged to keep them around you. You know why? Because they are carrying unrest with them. They are fighting to keep unrest. As ridiculous as that sounds, but that's what they're doing. That's how worldly people operate most of the time. But most of the time they won't see this, and even when they see it, they wouldn't admit it. So when you walk in love towards everyone, you are honestly concerned with the well-being of others, but you are in humility, so you acknowledge your own physical and mental limitations. You acknowledge your weaknesses, your vulnerabilities, and that's why when someone holds on to the negative, you move on. Not because they are right and you are wrong. There's nothing to do with that. You ought not to endanger yourself with unrest. Now, this does not mean that you just throw people away as if they never existed. If someone needs deliverance, you keep your distance, you give them the space for them to recover. And once in a while you can come by and drop some words of encouragement, you can do that. And if someone truly needs help because they can't function well anymore, they've snapped due to years of abuse or years of being in a hostile environment, if they really can't help themselves, then you keep your distance absolutely. You still walk in love towards them, even if they intended harm upon you or if harm occurred to you through them. Because walking in love is a commandment, okay? But many confuse walking in love with approval. To walk in love towards everyone doesn't mean you approve of everyone's conduct. It doesn't mean that you agree nor empower what everyone is doing. To walk in love simply means that you operate in agreement with Christ. Alright? So again, you walk in love towards everyone. That means you operate in the positive, not a positive way of thinking. No, you operate in the positive. And that will automatically work out that you cannot remain with those that hold on to the negative. So you don't have to go out there scanning people, where you don't have to do all of that. Walk by faith and automatically it will reveal who are holding on to the negative. And look, you're not judgmental. There's a difference between judging correctly and being judgmental. Most can see the difference. When Christ told people to shake the dust off their feet, he tells them to have sound judgment. When people chose hold on to unrest in any shape or form, then you should not be charged with that. Why? Because demons will try to convince you that you need to make it up with those people, that you did nothing wrong to, or they may convince you that you need to deal with those people. And that can be correct, they need to be dealt with. But because you hold on to the negative, when you deal with them without you realizing it, you're being dragged into their negative. In the world, they have this attitude: if people don't want you around, just leave. Because they don't want you, you shouldn't force yourself on people. If you take this rule to the extreme, that means that you would have to take the will of everyone. That's not what the Most High is saying here. He's not saying that you have to take the will of everyone. There are times people need to be addressed. There are times people need to be stopped. That's true. But look at the bigger picture. The Most High does not tell you just walk away and allow people to will whatever they will against you. No. The Most High tells you not to engage with people when they persist that you need to bow down to their terms, which are not in agreement with Christ. When people hold on to unrest, when people choose to remain in the dark, and they persist that you remain in the dark with them, or else they can't deal with you, well, they can retain their darkness. You walk by faith. A lot of people struggle with this. Look, when do you move on? When do you shake the dust off your feet? I can't tell you. In exact circumstances, because I'm not there with you. That's why you ought to be in agreement with Christ, so the Holy Spirit will guide you. And here's the thing: most of the time, you don't even have to shake the dust off your feet, because those who hold on to unrest, they'll become so uncomfortable around you when you walk by faith, they'll disappear. And so when you are doing research, thinking why did it happen, that sometimes you even ask them and they are resistant, is then you realize it's not you. The Holy Spirit. Often the Holy Spirit blocks those people from you, and the Holy Spirit can tell you, James, I blocked Kevin from you because Kevin is holding on to the negative. He still is looking validation from his wife, and the Holy Spirit could explain everything to you, but the Holy Spirit is not going to bother your mind with all the details and all that data. The Holy Spirit knows that you will go and ask your body, why did you cut me off? What happened? And the Holy Spirit blocks people from you, and when those people leave and you try to ask them what's going on, the Holy Spirit allows this to happen. You're not wrong. Why is this happening? The Holy Spirit allows this to happen so you will see it's not you. Okay? Go, this video is almost 9 minutes. I'm going to close now. Agree with Christ and be at peace.